you for joining Netwatchers TV and radio for another episode of Today in the News, September 17, 2018. In today's news, PNP 80, General Blues supporters bemoan female absence in second-tier leadership. Phillips says Holness government most corrupt in independent Jamaica. New school bus for Buff Bay Primary School. No hospital for Negril at this time, says Tufton. Not the time to gloat about crime reduction, says Chuck. Tax inflows 4% ahead of target, says Clark. Earthquake unit confirms a 4.6 magnitude quake. And in mini sports today, Jamaica Invitational meet has its purpose. J3A president defends Jamaica Invitational amid calls for revision. The Reggae Boys should have scored more against the Cayman Islands, says Wade. And now in the news. Some female supporters of the People's National Party, the PNP, have expressed disappointment that there will be no female in the hierarchy following the outcome of yesterday's vice presidential election. Incumbent Dr. Angela Brownburg was yesterday booted from the second-tier leadership. One PNP supporter attending the party's annual conference said this was somewhat backwards. Longtime Vice President Dr. Fenton Ferguson was also booted, while first-time contenders Damian Crawford, Michael Phillips, and Philip Paulwell were elected, as well as incumbent Dr. Wickham McNeil. It's party over individual, always, but I can't help but feel that women are once again becoming backbenchers in the party, said Sophia Mitchell. But speaking today on That's a Wrap on RJR 94 FM, attorney at law Nicole Gordon said there was nothing particularly wrong with an all-male second-tier leadership. Portia Simpson-Miller has been the only other female vice president of the People's National Party. According to Gordon, there was nothing to show that the outcomes have been different because there was a female vice president. However, that does not console Mitchell. People's National Party PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips has described the Andrew Holness-led administration as the most corrupt in the history of independent Jamaica. In his address to the party's 80th annual conference at the National Arena Sunday, Phillips, spurred on by thousands of cheering comrades, alluded to controversies which surrounded the debushing program, acquisition of police used cars, the Firearm Licensing Authority (FLA), Audley Shaw's $8 million phone bill, and Delano Civright's $9 million travel bill. The government have more scandals than Riverton City Dump have scandal back, said Phillips. And then we have the super scandal, the Petrojam scandal, continued Phillips. Petrojam has been rocked by a series of embarrassing revelations involving the improper awarding of contracts and lack of oversight. Thank God for the opposition in Parliament. Thank God for PAAC, Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, and the PNP members on the PAAC. We found the evidence that what we have today in Jamaica is the most corrupt administration that has ever held office in the history of our country since independence, Phillips said. He said it was not the accountability promised by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The Buff Bay Primary School in Portland last week received a 29-seater bus funded by the Japanese government. The bus was handed over by Japanese Ambassador to Jamaica, Hiromasa Yamazaki, under the Grant Assistance for the Grassroots Human Security Projects. Member of Parliament for West Portland, Daryl Vaz, also contributed to the purchase of the bus. Ambassador Yamazaki said that the $67,515 US grant funds to purchase the bus were made available in February this year. This is to provide a much-needed transportation system for the bus, he said. We would like to expand the grassroots program, and having recognized the dire need, the people of Japan took the decision to assist with this project. Thanks to Minister Vaz for his involvement and partnership, and I urged students to continue to perform well in school. We look forward to future partnerships like this one. He said, Bull Bay Primary has a student population of approximately 650 students. The institution has been ranked among the top performing schools in the Farmer School Leaving Exam, the Grade 6 Achievement Test GSAT, in the island by the Ministry of Education. GSAT has now been replaced by the Primary Exit Profile, PEP. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he does not support views that a hospital is needed in Negril, Westmoreland currently. He says residents should instead be more socially responsible to reduce accidents and violence. This is where we have our priorities wrong. What really needs to be done is for people to stop riding bikes without helmets and doing stunts, not to mention the trauma from violence and so on, said Tufton in an interview with the Gleaner, following the official opening of a new accident and emergency unit and a groundbreaking ceremony for a new radiology unit at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay, St. James. The issue of motor vehicle accidents, particularly those involving motorcycles, has been a long-standing problem in Westmoreland, resulting in the Savannah Lamar Hospital's Accident and Emergency Department being overwhelmed with injuries resulting from motorcycle crashes. Rising crime in Westmoreland is also taxing the hospital's resources. However, in addressing the issue, Tufton said that a culture shift is needed to deal with the problem in Negril and not a new medical facility. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says that although murders across the country have declined by approximately 20%, it is not the time for the government to end the states of public emergency or gloat and celebrate the reduction. This year, murders went up by over 20% in the first couple of months, but in the last 5 to 7 months, it has been slowly decreasing. We are now down by 20%, said Chuck, who was speaking at the installation ceremony for 22 new justices of peace in Trelawney on Friday. It is going in the right way, but there is nothing to gloat or cheer about. We must get murders to a level where we respect human lives. Until then, we must try to get murders closer to zero. There is nothing to cheer about now, noted Chuck. With respect to the states of emergency in St. James and St. Catherine North, Chuck described them as being extremely successful and argued that they should be continued in order to derive the best result possible. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says tax revenues are ahead of budget by approximately 4% for the first 4 months of the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Speaking at the Tax Audit and Revenue Administration (TARA) postgraduate diploma program graduation ceremony at the Knutsford Court Hotel on Friday, Clark heralded the positive tax inflows as evidence that investments in the transformation of Jamaica's tax administrative services were bearing fruit, even as the economic fundamentals move in the right direction. The finance minister noted there is a sense of the practice of increasing taxes each year could mask or hide inefficiencies. The fact that there were no new taxes this year for the first 4 months of the year, tax revenues are 4% ahead of budget, is very, very significant. And ladies and gentlemen who work within the tax administrative system have everything to be proud of. Clark further highlighted that as the government of Jamaica continues to transform the public sector, government employees have a crucial role to play in embodying the ideals of the preferred Jamaican state. The earthquake unit at the University of the West Indies, Mona, has confirmed that an earthquake with a magnitude 4.6 affected mainly eastern parishes this afternoon. It said the earthquake occurred about 1:47 p.m. with the epicenter recorded 4 kilometers east of Angels in St. Catherine. The tremor was felt mainly in Old Harbour, Portmore and Spanish Town St. Catherine, as well as Kingston and St. Andrew according to the earthquake unit. However, callers to the newsroom from as far as Clarendon and St. Mary reported feeling the tremors. And in mini sports, President of the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association J3A, Dr. Warren Blake, says that the aim of the Jamaica International Invitational Meet is not to make a profit, but to provide an international platform for local athletes to perform, as well as to provide them with a source of income. His comments followed those of Minister of Sport Olivia Grange, who has recommended that the meet be revived since it has failed to make a profit in the last few editions. The international meet aims at development and giving the athletes who would not get a Diamond League lane a chance to make some earnings. Blake said it is hard to make a profit from the meet when you pay every athlete that participates and everyone who works at the meet. Grange said in an interview last week that the ministry has had to bail out the directors of the meet as they have been having a deficit over the past few years. Jerome Jerry Waite, assistant coach of Jamaica's national senior team, admitted that the team should have scored more against the Cayman Islands in last Sunday CONCACAF Nations League opener at the National Stadium. Waite, however, said that he was generally pleased with the overall performance of the team, which ran out 4-0 winners over their neighbors, with strikers Darren Mattox and Corey Burke both getting 2 goals each. Mattox converted in the second and 58th minutes, while Burke got his goals in the 35th and 66th minutes. We scored 4 chances but created a lot, and the score could have been much higher, said Waite for the contest. The fact that we had not played for a while in the office might have contributed, but it was a welcome victory, said Waite. I don't think that the opponent had much to offer. The Jamaica team maintained a lot of the ball. We were not in any rush. The team was patient playing against the Cayman Islands, Waite added. Jamaica played 2 games in 2 days. The first against Ecuador last Friday night, where they went down 2-0 at the Red Bulls Arena in New Jersey. And that is it for today's episode of This Day in the News. Thank you for making it Netwatchers TV and radio. Until another episode, peace out.